for a few moments, then to a person will be conscious about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if a person is living a normal life, meaning he is not being in the company of pious people and he is living a normal life, then the imbalance of these two qualities then these two qualities will be very imbalanced, meaning the qualities of evil qualities and the good qualities. That's why when that person is alone, then that person might want to feel like doing wrong and to sin and to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to not maybe pray. That kind of quality is increased in that person when a person does not stay in that company of pious people. So there are these two qualities to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, and it's in human being. That's why human being wants to do, if he's doing good, that is because of that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept the sifat and the qualities of the angels, the malaika, who always obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if a person does not want to do good, meaning a person is feeling like to do evil, that is the qualities and the sifat of the haywaniyah, or the animalistic qualities, or the bad qualities, the evil qualities. That's and they do not obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the evil and the shayateen, etc. That's why a person will also feel like to wrong. So because of these two things, a person do anything good or bad. Now, why did Allah subhanahu, this question can also come, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created these two sifat? Allah would have only created one. Then the answer the ulama give to this is that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the wisdom behind it. If any person who has these kind of questions in his mind and someone answers him this answer by saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the wisdom, then the person might think you are trying to figure out your way out so that you can be safe from this question, that you don't have the answer to it. So this answer, what the thinking is wrong, because this answer is also a very authentic answer that the wisdom only knows by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why it is very authentic answer is because we have learned in our past few aqidas, where we learn that we need to have this aqidah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always there and He will always be. Not just the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the af'al of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are also eternal, meaning the af'al of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are also eternal. So anything which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, including the qualities of good and bad. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also knows the wisdom of every single thing. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Hakim. He knows the wisdom of every single thing. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can create, and He is the creator of every single thing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the wisdom of everything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the knowledge of everything. And if a human being says that you need to have the answer of every question, then you're saying, in other words, that we need to know everything. And as human beings, we cannot know. Our knowledge is limited and our ilm is limited. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's af'al, His actions, His ilm, His wisdom, everything is la mahdud. There is no boundary to it. It's la mahdud. Hence, the wisdoms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala behind this is also from those which we human beings, as human beings, we do not know the answer to. So hence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this answer becomes very authentic, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only knows the wisdom behind it. And just quick, easy example to understand this, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have only created good, then there wouldn't be any bad. A quick example, and then inshallah we'll end off with that. We know that we are created for testing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is created us for test. In test, there needs to be something which is bad and which is right, so that a person can choose the correct answer. In test, everyone has given test in our life at least once, twice, or many times. And if there are a question, it says that the answer is it's a quiz. You have a question, we have four options. If the teacher gives all four options correct, right? if a question is such that the four options are such that all four options are correct, if any of the option is ticked, then a person, the student will get full marks. So that is not a test, because the student knows that any option I choose, it will be correct. So eventually, that kind of student will not wait for a result. But if the options are such that there is only one correct answer and the rest are wrong, a student cannot say that this teacher doesn't know the answers to it. It is obvious that the answer, the option A is correct, B, C, D is wrong. So why did the teacher give? No, this is because then when a person will give such kind of test, that person will wait for the result. Hence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us bad, created bad and good, so that to see who will do the right thing, who will do the good thing, and so that we can be waited for our results, so that we will see our results on the day of Qiyamah. This is the basic understanding of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created and why and how the test goes. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the correct understanding of our aqidah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the correct understanding of Quran and Hadith. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to get closer to Him every moment of our life. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakallah khair. Subhanallah bihamdi. Subhanakallah bihamdi. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu